Hi everybody, welcome to Live with Chaudhry here at Bio 2022 in San Diego. It's day one and I'm delighted to join by Rich Masters from Bio, which stands for the Biotechnology Innovation Organization, so I remember that, Rich. And we're going to find out a bit more about Bio itself, the organization, and let's Rich what they've put together for this year's Bio. So first of all, Rich, it's lovely to see you. How are you?
Oh, listen, I am great to be here, great to be seeing people live and in person, and we're so glad that you and your viewers could join us.
Well, it's lovely to see you. Now, before we start talking about the event itself, for those people not familiar with Bio as an organization, can you give me a quick overview of the organization?
So it's an interesting question, and there's so many people because the Bio International Convention is so unbelievably popular. We're going to have almost 15,000 entrepreneurs here. Biotech entrepreneurs are coming to this, 15,000. So most people know us for our events. Why? Because they're fantastic. However, we are also a trade organization. We're an advocacy organization based in Washington, D.C. So we have over 1,000 member companies who join us so that we can use our expertise to make sure public policy in Washington, D.C. and in Sacramento, California, Springfield, Illinois, so that public policy actually helps biotech, because right now there's a lot of people that want to bring down science and castigate science and say bad things about science. Bio is here to be the voice of science and for science.
Well, that's really interesting. Now, the last Bio I went to before this one was actually in Philly in 2019, where I did a whirlwind one-day trip from Atlanta to there and back to Atlanta for another show. And it was a great event, but obviously a lot's happened since then, both in terms of the events industry, but also, more importantly, how biotechnology has changed since that period. It's far more in the limelight, a lot more focus on it. So from your point of view as an organizer and industry body, how have things changed since 2019?
It's a great question, and they've changed so dramatically. I'll be honest with you, when we talked about having a live and in-person event in 2022, we were like, I don't know, are people going to come back? We did 2 virtual bios, will people come back? And we were nervous about it, quite honestly. We actually had lower expectations, but immediately, once we opened up the gates, we started seeing a steady trickle of people coming back. And this particular one is so important because of the main fact that right now conventions like this can happen because of biotechnology. So whether it's the pipe fitters or whether it is the automobile manufacturers or the equipment manufacturers, they can all meet in person again. Why? Because of our scientists. The scientists, some of whom met at Bio in previous years, are the ones that developed the vaccines. And so not only is this a great coming together of some 15,000 businesses, there's also going to be partnering systems in which investors meet inventors, and they actually partner and they come up with ways in which they can fund the science that is changing lives and saving lives. So we're going to have some 30,000 partnering meetings, 15,000 people are going to be here, and they're all going to be here because of biotechnology.
Fantastic. Now let's talk about some of the topics though. I mean, obviously, as I said, things have changed a lot since 2019, and there's a lot more therapies out there now using the technology. So how has this changed as an event in terms of the topics being covered compared to, say, 2019?
Well, right in 2019, we were talking, even in 2019, Bio was talking about the potential for a pandemic and what our companies were doing. The difference was no one was listening in 2019. So 7-9 months later, 10 months later, people realized that what we were talking about in 2019 and 2018 and predicting a potential pandemic could actually occur. But the good news is, our scientists were already working on mRNA technologies. They were already working on the SARS kind of strain. So they actually were light years ahead. That's why for the first time in history, we were able to take a concept from the concept in a lab to a vaccine in 1 year. Unprecedented. And people say it's unprecedented, but why? The reason it's unprecedented is because the industry has funded this research for years. So it wasn't like when the pandemic hit, everyone said, now what do we do? The industry already knew. They had it. They had it from a bunch of failed science, a bunch of successful science, and so we were able to shorten that time frame, and that's because the investment structure, the structure around biotechnology has come together. And so we're going to celebrate that. So in 2019, we were talking about the potential. Now we have the reality to talk about it. So you're going to see a lot of the sessions are going to talk about the reality of it. And they're also going to be talking about the reality of what's next. Long COVID. What is long COVID? How is long COVID going to be treated? And so our companies are working on that. Do you know that within 6 months of COVID breaking out, there were 900 therapies, diagnostic tools, and vaccines in development? 1,000 within 6 months. That's because our companies planned and they predicted and knew this was going to happen, and that's why we were able to react so quickly.
Now, you always talked about the partnering program that's going on, but what are some of the other highlights people can expect this week at Bio?
So we have the partnering meetings, which are obviously very important, but what we also are going to see is if you are a small biotech company, and you want to know what the best in the industry is doing, right behind me on this exhibit floor, you're going to see cutting edge technology from all of our sponsors that are here, that are showing, here's the newest in microscopes, here's the newest kinds of pipettes and the newest kinds of medical equipment that you need. So you're going to be able to get that. You're also going to see Startup Stadium. Startup Stadium is an area where if I was a young biotech entrepreneur, I could go and actually, in almost like a Shark Tank type environment, I can actually talk about my startup business, build excitement, build investment. So we'll have startup statement. And then we also have unbelievable speakers. Venus Williams is going to come in, and she's going to be interviewed by Aaron Andrews of ESPN. Venus is a patient advocate and an entrepreneur, 7-time Grand Slam champion, and we're going to be excited to hear about her, and more importantly, the health challenges that she's had to struggle and go through, and how pharmaceuticals, how medicines have helped change her life, put her back on the court, and made her a queen titan of industry.
Fantastic. Now, looking ahead, what can people expect to see from Bio as an organization going forward?
Well, we're already planning Boston 2023. Put it on your calendars if you don't have it right now. Secondly, in September, we're going to have Bio Impact. So we also have events that go, the Biotechnology Innovation Organization, BIO, represents not just healthcare, life science companies, we also represent environmental companies and agriculture companies. We're going to be meeting in Omaha in September to celebrate the biotechnology work that is amazing. It has allowed United Airlines to fly a cross-country flight on green fuel. It's the same kind of technology that is starting to figure out ways to stop pests and to stop drought, just simply by changing the DNA of insects. It's amazing what this industry is capable of doing when it's backed and when people stand up. You know, our theme is limitless. And the truth is, our science is limitless as long as we limit science less. And so that takes us back to what we're doing in Washington, D.C. When you have policymakers that try to limit science and try to monkey with science, you're going to hurt that industry. So we'll also be working very, very hard in Washington, D.C. to stop stupid legislation that could actually hurt the industry, could actually stop some of the science. It's a dangerous trend, and we're going to be fighting very hard for that. So we got a full plate, a full agenda. We're excited to get after it.
Brilliant, Rich. It all sounds very exciting stuff. There you go, viewers. If you are here this week in San Diego, then check out the various highlights Rich just mentioned. If you can't make it, then look out for the future events and follow Bio online. Rich, all that's left to say is thank you for taking time out to talk to me today. It's lovely to meet you. Enjoy the rest of the week. I hope it goes very well.
Great. Thanks so much.
And viewers, thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.